The last 24 hours have changed Manchester United's transfer plans. One deal is close, several midfield targets are back in play, and the club could be heading for one of its biggest rebuilds in years. Here's the latest. This is the red break. You already know United want Andre Santos. That story broke yesterday. But what's happening right now behind the scenes? That's the part nobody's talking about yet. Because United aren't just interested anymore. They're about to test Chelsea directly. And what's coming next could blow this whole situation wide open. Here's the update. Sources say a formal offer is coming in the next few days. Not interest, not contact, an actual offer designed to force Chelsea's hand. And that changes everything. But here's what's shifted since yesterday. Santos isn't being protected the way you'd expect. A 22-year-old Brazil international, under contract until 2031, and Chelsea are still willing to listen. Why? Because last season Santos barely played. Half his appearances came off the bench. Full 90 minutes? Just 4 times, buried behind Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez in a midfield that simply didn't need him. Think about that for a second. A full Brazil international, barely getting a look in. That's the kind of frustration that pushes a player to force his own exit. His market value sits at 40 million euros. Chelsea want closer to 60 euros. Sound familiar? Same trick they pulled with Elliot Anderson. Same trick with Matheus Fernandes. Both left for big fees, way above their valuations. Chelsea think they can repeat it here. And honestly, given their track record the last 2 windows, why wouldn't they try? But here's the twist United are counting on right now. Santos is cheaper than United's other midfield targets. And after missing out on Anderson and Fernandes already, cheaper matters a lot. Because Michael Carrick has a real problem. Casemiro is gone. Ugarte is injured. United's midfield right now is thin, dangerously thin. And you don't fix a problem like that with one signing. You fix it by moving fast on multiple fronts at once, which is exactly what's happening. That's why Alex Scott is still in play too. Bournemouth wants 70 million euros. Santos could come in under that. And that's shifting the whole calculation inside Old Trafford's boardroom today. Picture the meeting. 2 names on the whiteboard. One at 70 million euros, unproven at this level. One potentially cheaper, already tested in League One, already carrying senior international recognition. Which one would you pick? There's also this. Newcastle are watching the Santos situation closely. They need a Sandro Tonali replacement, with Tonali heading to Tottenham. And Santos himself has opened the door. After missing the World Cup squad, Ancelotti cut the roster from 55 down to 26. And Santos didn't make it. He knows exactly what that means. He needs guaranteed minutes, not rotation. Not bench appearances behind 2 of the best midfielders in the league. Imagine being that close to a World Cup and watching your name get cut. That's not just disappointing. That's the kind of moment that changes a career decision. He wants out. United know it. And now they're moving on it. But Santos isn't the only midfield story blowing up right now. Carlos Baleba. Remember this name? United already agreed personal terms with him last summer. That deal never happened. But it never actually died either. And that distinction matters more than people realise. Brighton's price? Above £75 million. Steep. But sources close to the player say Baleba is still open to the move. Still open to Old Trafford. The only thing missing is United reigniting interest. Which means this isn't a closed chapter. This is a paused one. And paused stories in football have a habit of reopening the moment a club has money to spend. Think about the profile Baleba brings. Power, legs that cover ground for fun. A different type of midfielder entirely compared to Santos. Where Santos offers energy in tight spaces, Baleba offers physical dominance. United aren't chasing the same player twice. They're chasing 2 different solutions to 2 different problems. And with United desperate for midfield reinforcements right now, don't be shocked if this name resurfaces fast. Maybe faster than people think. Now let's talk Tchouameni. Aurelien Tchouameni's situation at Real Madrid has been simmering for a while, and Manchester United continue to be linked as one of the clubs monitoring it. His role under Madrid's current setup hasn't been fixed, and with United hunting for a commanding presence in midfield, his name keeps getting dropped into these conversations. Nothing formal, no bids, but the interest hasn't gone away. And that's exactly the kind of story that suddenly accelerates overnight in this window. Here's why Tchouameni matters differently to the other two names. He's not a project, he's not a gamble, he's a proven top-level operator who's already won at the highest stage. If United could pull this off, it wouldn't just be a signing, it would be a statement. But statements cost money, and Real Madrid don't let go of players like that easily. Still, the interest hasn't gone away, and in a summer where United are chasing 3 different midfielders at once, that says everything about how urgent this rebuild actually is. Because think about what United are trying to do here. They're not just replacing Casemiro, they're trying to build an entire midfield from scratch. Santos for energy and depth, Baleba for power and legs, Tchouameni for control and experience. 3 completely different profiles, 3 completely different price tags, and United are circling all of them at once. That's not a small rebuild, that's a full reset. And full resets don't happen because a club wants to spend money for fun. They happen because the alternative is finishing mid-table again. Let's talk about what this actually means for United's season. Last year, the midfield collapsed under pressure in big games. Not enough legs, not enough control, not enough bodies when injuries hit. Carrick knows this, the board knows this. That's why there isn't just one name being chased, there are 3 running in parallel, because United can't afford another window where they miss on every target and limp into August short-handed. And that's the real story underneath all of this. It's not really about Santos or Baleba or Tchouameni individually. It's about whether United can finally execute a transfer window without falling short at the final hurdle. That's the pattern fans have watched for years now. Strong intent in June, panic by deadline day. This time feels different. 3 parallel targets, real financial planning behind the scenes, a manager pushing hard for reinforcements before pre-season even wraps up. Now here's a few more updates moving fast around Old Trafford today. United are still expected to confirm Ederson's move from Atalanta, €44 million once his involvement in the World Cup wraps up. That deal has been quietly ticking along in the background while all this midfield chaos plays out up front. It's easy to forget about a deal like this when 3 other stories are competing for headlines, but make no mistake, Ederson is close to becoming official, and Alex Scott remains firmly on the radar too. Bournemouth holding firm at that €70 million valuation, United weighing it against cheaper options like Santos. Every day that valuation stays the same is another day United lean toward the cheaper alternative. So here's where this leaves United right now. 3 midfield names in play, 1 almost completed deal in Ederson, and a manager under real pressure to get this rebuild right before the season starts. And here's something worth sitting with. If United land even 2 of these 3 names, Santos, Baleba or Tchouameni, this becomes one of the most significant midfield rebuilds anywhere in Europe this summer. Not just the Premier League, Europe. That's how big this is getting, and it's still July. Fans have waited a long time for a window that actually feels decisive, not reactive, not last-minute panic buying, actual planning, actual identity. And whether you trust this United hierarchy or not, the activity right now at least looks like a club that knows what it's building toward. Whether it actually comes together, that's the part nobody can answer yet. But what do you think? Santos, Baleba or Tchouameni? Who should United actually go all in on? And could you see United landing all 3? Let me know below. See you in the next one.